Okay?
Wait, how does she do that again?
I'm the CEO, or I'm Sasha Banks, I'm the boss.
Sounds like you're doing like an Egyptian or something like that. I'm
Listen.
not sure what that was.
Take it up with her. I'm doing a perfect parody of Mercedes Monet / Sasha Banks.
What is up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the 5-Star Jobbers Podcast. I'm Cody.
And I am embarrassed as an American that a French crowd was better than any American crowd I've seen in a long time.
Absolutely. I mean, this is probably the most amazing crowd. We lost to the French. We lost to the French. That hardly ever happens.
Sacre bleu!
Sacre bleu!
La pizza mal God.
Baguette.
Je m'appelle
Les Miserables. I apologize to any of our French audiences watching this right now.
Mm-hmm.
Or one French viewer.
Pamplemousse.
Anyway, guys.
I think that's a.
I was about to say, what did you just say?
It's a flavor of LaCroix. Pamplemousse.
Yeah, let's stick to English, because I think that we're getting deeper and deeper into a hole here.
Do you know the secret to life?
I would like to buy a hamburger.
Is happiness in your ass. Your happiness, to be happy. In your ass, your house, where you live.
I think I'm probably going to have to bleep a lot of that out. Anyway, thank you guys so much. I can't focus now. You threw me off. Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening, and thank you to everybody that's subscribed to our channel and followed us from the get-go. If you haven't yet, go check out our YouTube content. All of our commentary stuff is on there. Also, follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. But I want to let you guys know of some upcoming events that are going to be going on in the future here. You're not going to want to miss these. First off, May 11th, Awesome Wrestling and Remarkable Entertainment presents Roar of the Bear at Baker County K-12 School Gymnasium in Newton, Georgia. Doors open at 6 o'clock, and the show starts at 6:30 p.m. Don't get there at 6 a.m. You'll be way too early. Nobody needs to be there too early.
Not at a kid's school.
No.
That you're not supposed to be on.
Exactly.
During kids' hours.
Exactly. Anyway.
Not the hard way.
Anyway. May 18th, Southern Wrestling Tradition presents Extraction at the Pavo Peacock Center in Pavo, Georgia. Doors open at 6 p.m. Bell time is at 7 p.m. Also, you may have noticed the shirts that we've got on right here. It's because we're promoting May 17th and May 18th. Kraken Pro Wrestling, in association with the Alzheimer's Association, is going to be presenting Kraken for a Cause and the Kraken Classic, where they will crown their very first champion. It's going to be a 2-day event. A tournament's going to be happening. You're not going to want to miss it. But with that, we've got a special announcement to make about this. So, the higher-ups of Kraken Pro Wrestling have entrusted us to give this announcement to you guys.
Bad idea.
I know, right? We'll see how it goes. But anyway, we have a very special announcement about a giveaway that we're going to be promoting right now. So, we are going to be giving away 2 free tickets to both days. That's right, 2 free tickets for both days, Friday night and Saturday night, both events.
That's a heck of a deal.
I know, right? It's a $40 deal for absolutely free. But here's how you have to get entered to win it. Number 1, subscribe to Kraken Pro Wrestling's YouTube page. We'll put a link down below. Number 2, I'm hoping you keep those fingers like that and don't mess it up. Don't do anything. No.
I'm scissored right now, and that's as safe as you're getting.
I was about to say, keep it that way. Anyway, number 2. So, number 1, subscribe to Kraken Pro Wrestling's YouTube channel. Number 2, make sure to follow their Facebook page. Kraken Pro Wrestling, follow their Facebook page. And number 3, we'll put a Facebook post out on our page as well. It'll probably be a reel of this, but put a comment down below saying, release the Kraken.
Release the Kraken!
Those 3 things. That's all you have to do. Be entered to win. Subscribe to their YouTube channel, follow their page, and comment, release the Kraken. That's all you have to do to be entered to win this competition. So, go check out their Facebook page, go subscribe to the YouTube channel. They've already put out 2 matches from the last event, and those matches have been so much fun to watch. I love going back and watching those. Trevor Aon and Trey Shaw Brandon Watley and J2 Strong. I mean, incredible matches. But
fantastic
more will be
matches.
coming up.
I watched them multiple times myself. I still every once in a while just like to feel the dent over from the Trevor and the Trevor and Trey show. The Trevor and Trey show. The Trevor and Trey match. Trevor. They're gonna end up mixing it up again in this tournament. I know it. I don't think they're slaughtered at the beginning.
No, that's another thing. First round matches have already been announced on their Facebook page.
Go to the Facebook page and see it. You've got some great talent on there. But I'm calling it right here now. There's no way that we don't see Trevor and Trey in a second matchup before the end of this tournament, and it's gonna be a barn burner. It's gonna tear the house down. I can't wait to watch.
Well, now don't count out some of the other competitors in this. Now we might try and do
Eddie Honcho's in this one. I mean, goodness. I mean, fellow big boys got to root for each other. Everybody, come on, Eddie. Let's go, Eddie Honcho.
I'll tell you, one of my favorites to look at this one. Of course, Trevor Aon is a fierce competitor as well. Trey Shaw as well. For those of you that didn't know, Justin Case surrendered his Sunbelt Championship for 2 of his clients to be entered into this tournament.
And he was the longest reigning Sunbelt champion in the history of that belt.
Exactly. And so Lamar Diggs and J2 Strong have both been entered into this tournament. So you've got 2 people a part of the business in this tournament, and it's going to be interesting to see. But
no offense to J2 Strong, but of the 2 of those, I'm picking Diggs.
Now, I mean, yeah, Diggs is definitely a fierce competitor.
He's a behemoth.
Absolutely. Definitely one to look out for. And, of course, J2 Strong, sure, just in case is going to be in both of their corners, so he'll definitely play a factor in both of those matches. But don't want to count out their opponents because I believe J2 Strong will be going up against Hold My Beer Hansen in the first round. So he's going to have his hands full, that's for sure. Lamar Diggs is going to be going up against a very interesting competitor called Michael Walker. You may have seen him from one of our commentary episodes, The Flying Fro. Michael Walker. He's going to be going up against Lamar Diggs in the first round. So it's going to be an interesting matchup. Also, Trey Shaw in the first round is going to be going up against Brother Azriel.
That's a lot of booty.
Exactly. Hopefully he gets the chop for that and I don't get hurt in that. He said it, not me.
I'm just saying, when they said the immovable object, Brother Azrael, he falls in that category. When the mongrel tried to do jackhammer, I called it right then and there. I said, there's no way you're getting that guy up.
Exactly.
And man, remind me of like Haystacks Calhoun.
Exactly. So Trey Shaw and Brother Azrael in the first round matchup, and then also Trevor Aon going against Eddie Honcho. So first round matchups are going to be incredible. So like we said, May 17th and 18th, Kraken Pro Wrestling is going to be presenting the Kraken Classic. Don't want to miss out on that. To be entered into the sweepstakes for this, to be entered to win 2 free tickets, go subscribe to their YouTube channel, follow their Facebook page, and comment down below, release the Kraken. That's all you have to do. We'll announce the winner next week on our Facebook page and on our podcast as well, so you don't want to miss out on that. But with that, we've got a lot to get into, so we don't want to take up too much time. But first off, we want to get into WWE Backlash, which was in France this weekend. My, oh my, what a... the event itself was pretty amazing, but the crowd...
Holy crap.
...was
or as
on
they say in
fire.
France, holy crap.
I mean, this is probably one of the most lively crowds I've ever seen at a WWE Premium Live event. Ever.
I mean, these guys were just as, they were just as lit as WrestleMania, as Philly was in WrestleMania 40.
Absolutely. I'd say 10 times more lit than WrestleMania 40.
When you consider the sheer size, like WrestleMania 40 was a whole stadium. This is an arena. And yeah, they were lighting that arena up. And like I said, the excitement compared to All In at Wembley, WrestleMania 40 in Philly, I can't even think of the last arena show that, maybe, unless we're talking about like CM Punk in Chicago.
Right.
But they were lit the whole night. It wasn't just like one person. Kevin Owens came out at the beginning, and I was like, that's a smart move. Had the one guy who speaks French come out first. Good pop. But they were lit the whole show. They brought back the Bailey chant. When's the last time you heard like, hey Bailey, ooh, ah. I want to know, will you be my girl? So good. I was singing and dancing, and my wife was looking at me like, I really should have thought more about like a prenuptial agreement,
No, this was so much fun, and honestly, it makes you want to be a part of that crowd. It makes you want to be there in person. And
that's the first time ever in my life that I ever thought, man, the French are okay.
Yeah. But no, like this whole event was amazing from beginning to end. We're not going to get too much into it because there's a lot that we could unpack. But I want to touch on a few highlights here. Number one, of course, the first match with Kevin Owens and Randy Orton against the Bloodline.
Fantastic match from beginning to end.
Incredible.
Tama Tonga's back. Did you see Tama Tonga's back?
Oh, he got destroyed.
Halfway through the match. Like, all I could even watch was Tama. I'm sitting there pointing out to my wife. I'm like, look at his back. And she's like, is that like drawn on? I was like, no, he did not. He's like, he did not have that at the beginning of this match.
Yeah.
He is lit up.
Yeah.
Like, welcome
to WWE.
Well, he took both of those little backdrops from Randy on the two different tables, and I'm just thinking, okay, one of those tables was not
cleared off.
Was not cleared off the whole way.
Yeah,
but it was a hard hitting, brutal match. Good back and forth. It was almost like there was so much action that the cameras couldn't really keep up with it.
That's why they had to do like picture in picture, where you had Randy Orton and Tama Tonga, and then Kevin Owens and Solo Sikoa on the other one. And so, but then Tonga Loa makes his arrival. You've got both Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa in WWE now. You've got a more vicious bloodline than ever before.
God.
I mean, I don't see how it could get any better than this, honestly.
Jacob Fatu.
Yeah, that's true. Yep, I said corrected. Jacob Fatu, definitely.
Yeah, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for that. I mean, I was kind of expecting Jacob. I mean, really, honestly, when I saw Tama Tonga, I was thinking, well, how can you have Tama Tonga and not have Tonga Loa?
See, that's what I was thinking the whole time. I know Jacob Fatu is going to make his appearance at some point, sooner or later. But I knew that Tonga Loa was going to be the next one to join the Bloodline.
Yeah, no, this is the Bloodline 2.0, and if you even notice, it's like the graphics have changed.
Yeah.
They went from the black and red bloodline to now the more Polynesian style bloodline.
Yeah.
I think it's a cool little way to change it. It'll be interesting when Jimmy comes back.
Yeah.
Now, and to what level, if any, Jay will play any of this.
Well, probably not much, because, I mean, now that I don't know how strict it is now that they've done the draft that they've branched everybody off. So it's hard to say, but I mean, I'm sure that there'll be some kind of switch up at some point or some kind of shake up.
Well, they'll probably say this is probably going to breathe separate from the original Bloodline cast for a bit, but no, they're going to be an absolutely dominant group moving forward, and this is definitely it's going to help elevate Solo more, because I think Solo was kind of the sacrificial lamb for about the last year. They keeping Roman hot, keeping Roman in charge of everything, but making the Bloodline look vulnerable.
Yes,
Solo had to take that on. He ate a lot of losses.
Yeah,
in the build up to WrestleMania 40, and I think it kind of hurt a little bit of his credibility, as being a dominant enforcer. But with everything that's going on, he's going to run this group of monsters. It's only going to be good for everybody in this situation, because Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, for anybody who likes wrestling outside of WWE, which we're sure lots of you guys do, who that is. Like, you've seen them in New Japan, you've seen them in other promotions that they've been to. Their tag team, God. Mm-hmm. You don't need to know. You don't need to be taught who they are. But for the casual WWE only fan, only fan. Well, for the casual WWE fan who only watches WWE, they're probably thinking, okay, they didn't know who Tama Tonga was. People are having to tell them. They don't know who Tonga Loa is, but very quickly they're going to learn, and they're going to be.
It's going to be incredible.
It's going to be fantastic. But what's cool is that they're able to come in, and with people not knowing who they are, their association with the Bloodline gives them immediate credibility.
Yes, definitely.
So I'm super excited. The only thing I'm kind of frustrated about is, like, why can't I just have my Bullet Club reunion? Like, can I just not? Can we? Like, I understand the Bloodline is really important and everything like that, but we have Finn, we have AJ for only so much longer. Now we have some other ex-members of the Bullet Club. We got Anderson and Gallows doing nothing.
Just got to give it time.
I know.
Time. But anyway, fantastic to have Tonga Loa in WWE now. WWE Women's Championship, Triple Threat, Bayley, Naomi, and Tiffany Stratton was Pretty decent match.
Pretty decent match. Fantastic match. Like, honestly, this match, like, if it hadn't been for the main event, this to me would have been the best worked match on the pay-per-view. I was like kind of half in, half out on Tiffany Stratton, dude. I am all in on Tiffany Stratton.
Same.
Now. That girl can work her butt off.
Oh yeah. Now, granted, she doesn't need to have any kind of championship right now.
No.
But it's only going to help build her and give her more momentum to when she does. And honestly, what you were talking about last episode, I think it'd be perfect for her to win Money in the Bank. Mm-hmm. That would be the best thing that she could possibly do.
Oh yeah, let her carry a case, bejewel it, make it super pink.
Exactly.
Like, just
put like a clock on there that says Tiffy time.
Yes, absolutely. Let's say make it like the most girl Barbie, like I say, pink case, bejeweled diamonds.
Absolutely.
Like, just absolutely make it the most feminine thing in the entire world. Walk around and oh gosh, yeah, I'm all in for that. But Tiffany Stratton, as far as the women who have gotten called up from NXT, and she was called up a little early. She's obviously called up before the draft, but just I'll still put her in the same like grouping of girls that have been called up from NXT to the main roster in 2024. To me, she is the cream of the crop.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And then after that, I'd say like Lyra Valkyria.
Yeah.
She's just complete like crazy work rate. I can't wait to see.
I'm excited to see Blair Davenport in action.
I'm excited to see them all. Like I am stoked for this King of the Ring, Queen of the Ring tournament.
It's going to be good.
Ricochet versus Ilya Dragunov in the first round.
I saw that and I immediately popped. I'm like, you got to be kidding me! Like, that's honestly, I would love to see that in the finals.
Dude, they don't make enough Kleenex.
No.
You agreed to that, by the way.
Yeah, I know. But, I mean, any professional wrestling fan would feel the exact same way. Any professional wrestling fan.
Put on some candles, listen to a little Barry White.
Unfortunately...
make it special, just, Ricochet and Ilya Dragunov.
Anyway, unfortunately, Drew McIntyre is not going to be in it. They just announced that he's got some kind of injury, so he's been pulled from the tournament.
I do not like that at all.
I believe another good match is going to be Gunther versus Sheamus in the first round.
Gunther versus Sheamus. I mean, I wish this was Sheamus on roids and not Sheamus on, Budweiser or Sheamus on potato chips. What are we going?
Either way,
Sheamus on fish and chips.
It's still going to be a good match regardless.
I mean, you got. It's funny too because like 2 years ago, Gunther, looked like he could have, cut down on the old. Fish and chips, and now he's looking like a freaking svelte stud. And then you got Sheamus, who looks like he wears a T-shirt at the water park now. And that's no shame. Yeah. I'm a fellow T-shirt at the water park guy.
I was about to say, you have no room to talk.
These B cups are for my wife and my wife only.
But this tournament is going to be incredible. I'm trying to remember some of the matchups from the women's side of things. I know Zoe Stark is in the first round matchup. I think Lyra Valkyria is in it as well.
Zoe Stark versus Lyra Valkyria. Yep.
I'm trying to remember some of the other ones as well.
Here, you talk to the crowd about wonderful things, and I'll pull up. This is called bad production, people, and this is why we don't do this.
Hey, it's all good. It's all part of it. But anyway, yeah, this is going to be a great tournament. I'm interested to see where they go past this, or like how this helps build certain people's characters. And so I don't know. It's interesting to see, but the past King of the Rings haven't really done very much of anything for anybody. Because I mean, you had Xavier Woods win the last one. And I mean, first of all, the past King of the Rings haven't been really made that big of a deal. Like one of the things that really frustrated me in the last couple of years. Well, they haven't really even done a King of the Ring, in 2-3 years? I mean, Zelina, the last time they had a Queen of the Ring was Zelina Vega. Yeah.
And the last time they had a King of the Ring, it was Apollo. It was
wasn't it Xavier Woods?
Xavier Woods, I was going to say. I almost called him Consequences Creed.
That was another name that he had, but yeah.
Okay, so on the Raw side, we have Jey Uso versus Finn Balor.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. That's going to be a good one.
That'll be a good one. Kofi Kingston versus Rey Mysterio.
Okay.
Ricochet versus Ilya Dragunov.
Yep.
And Gunther versus Sheamus.
Right. And then on the women's side, what you got?
On the women's side, we have Zoe Stark versus Ivy Nile.
Okay.
We have Shayna Baszler versus Zelina Vega.
Okay, that's a good one.
We have Lyra Valkyria versus Asuka.
Ooh.
And Io Sky versus Natalia.
That'll be interesting.
So those matches,
and that's on the Raw side of things.
That's on the Raw side of things. I'm trying to get to the SmackDown side of things.
I don't think they've announced SmackDown yet. They probably will later.
I don't think they have either. I was trying to see if the internet might have cheated for me, but they have not.
Unfortunately,
so I'll expect to see on the SmackDown roster. I'll expect to see Tiffany Stratton in the women's division. I'll expect to see. Who was it that was drafted from NXT to the SmackDown from NXT?
Blair Davenport.
So I expect to see Davenport in there. I expect to see Braun Breaker. Actually, wait, no.
He's on the Raw side.
He's on the Raw side, and he wasn't on the list. Come on, Raw. What the heck, man?
Well, I mean, honestly, Braun doesn't really need to be in the King of the Ring tournament. I mean, he will dominate in that tournament, but he doesn't need to take on a loss at this point right now. They need to keep building him up and keep making him this unstoppable, freakazoid.
Well, then why doesn't he just win the whole dang thing?
Well, he doesn't need to win the whole thing because, I mean, he doesn't need that big of a push.
All right,
he's Braun Breaker.
So I'm just going to go through the list here real quick for the men. I'm not going to do it for the women, but for the men, I'm going to go ahead and say it. Finn Balor needs to win, but I think Jey Uso wins just because they're pushing Jey Uso to the moon as much as they can.
Okay.
Kofi Kingston versus Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio wins that one. Ricochet versus Ilya Dragunov.
I'd say Ilya wins that one.
I want Ricochet to win, but Ilya is going to be his beginning to the thing. They can't have him lose right at the beginning, so it's going to go Ilya, and then Gunther versus Sheamus. Gunther wins that.
Yes.
Then we have Gunther versus Ilya Dragunov rematch.
My gosh!
In the second.
Yes.
Hey, stop lifting the table.
I can't help it. I can't help it. We get Ilya Dragunov and Gunther again.
Yep. So
I hope that's the way they go.
Yep. And then we'll have Jey Uso versus Rey Mysterio.
Okay.
That's hard to call.
I say Jey goes over on that one.
I say Jey goes over. Maybe Dominic does some stuff to get in and screw his dad over.
Yeah.
So Jey goes over. So then you're going to have the winner of Ilya and Gunther. It's going to be Gunther.
Yeah.
So you'll have Jey versus Gunther. I'm calling it. Gunther wins that.
Yeah, honestly, I think Gunther will win the whole thing.
I think Gunther wins the whole thing. I think, the whole.
Well, now we say that without knowing who's on the SmackDown side, but honestly, of all the competitors that have been announced so far, Gunther makes the most sense.
I think this whole pay-per-view is about putting Gunther in the world title conversation.
Oh, absolutely.
He dropped the title to Sammy at WrestleMania, and they've had him kind of have these little matches really just to remind people that he's completely dominant. But I'm 100% saying this is Gunther coming in. He's going to win. He's going to be the king.
Yes.
It's going to be part of this new aura of him. And
kind of has a nice ring to it. King Gunther.
Yeah. I mean, it's better than just Gunther.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like it couldn't get any worse than what was it before? I can't remember what it was before, but it was apparently when they needed to change his name from Walter because that was too over for Vince. They needed to change it to Gunther.
I wish he'd go back to Walter.
I wish he would too. What was really funny was when I guess. So,
but apparently he likes Gunther.
Well, when they first put him on Raw and they gave him a name, it was a first and last name. It wasn't just Gunther. It was like Gunther something or other.
Yeah.
But then apparently the last name had too strong of ties to the Nazis. So they had to take it off because people were complaining.
Way to go, Vince.
Yeah, the more you know.
Exactly.
But, so I think King Gunther has a good ring to it. And it'll be interesting to see where they're going. I mean, now that they've broken up Imperium.
Yeah.
Does he still do they start a new faction, or does he just have his lackey beside do they go no lackey and just Gunther and his lackey but no faction?
I don't know. I mean, honestly, it could go either way, and I'd be okay with it because you have Ludwig Kaiser in his corner the entire time, and honestly, I feel like that would be okay. Well,
that's what I'm saying. Is do they need a faction, or is it just him with Kaiser?
Really, I don't think he needs a faction.
Yeah, I don't think he does either. But I'm a big fan of factions.
Yeah,
when they're done right.
Yeah, exactly.
Not AEW style factions where everybody just kind of sucks and gets booked into oblivion.
Yeah, and then they become a faction for 5 months, and then
they stop being a faction and nobody even cares.
Yeah. Which, speaking of, like, I think I don't know. Was there anything else we wanted to get into Backlash? I mean, overall, this was fantastic.
No, Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles. That
yes.
match was absolutely freaking ridiculous, fantastic, amazing. And for some reason, it didn't get the same love from certain indie darling lovers that have other rating systems than the Danielson Ospreay match got.
Here's my whole thing with that. Screw that guy.
Screw you, Dave Meltzer.
I could care less about the 5-star ratings or anything. As a professional wrestling fan, I thought this was a fantastic
absolutely
match.
Fantastic match. And you know what? They didn't slap each other for 20 minutes straight.
Exactly.
I didn't know you were allowed to do that in 5-star matches.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But yeah, this match was absolutely amazing from bell to bell. I mean, Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles, I mean, they've been on the road for years. They know each other very well. Two Georgia boys getting it on in the ring. It was a great match. Yeah, honestly, I would say the best match of the year.
I mean, 100% can. I mean, it's early in the year still, but like 100% candidate for best match of the year. And it's like what ticks me off is that had this match happened in AEW, I'm sure Meltzer would have given it 12 stars.
Yeah, absolutely.
But because it's in WWE,
match of the decade.
You're not going to hear. You're not going to get. It's not going to get the same applause that it deserves.
No.
And here's what I'll say too. This match, to me, work rate was better than WrestleMania 40's main event. But the story that they tell at WrestleMania 40 is better. And that is a very distinct line that needs to be drawn so people can understand that there are great worked matches and then there are great storytelling matches. But when you have like matches that come together, like the work rate that Cody and Roman had along with the story, made that one of the greatest matches in the history of wrestling, period.
Easily.
You got to have story.
Yes.
You can have fantastic 5-star matches, but without story, they'll never be memorable. Like, they'll be memorable for a season, but then you have matches that are memorable for a lifetime.
Yes.
I don't think anybody's going to say that Hogan versus Andre was a 5-star workhorse, clinic.
No.
But at the same time, everybody knows Hulk and Andre's match.
Yes.
Like,
the story behind that and the story of the build to that was what fans remember.
Yep.
And then, of course, the infamous body slam where Hulk Hogan slams Andre Giant to the mat. I mean, that's what everybody sees, and that's what you see in all the vignettes of WWE every single time they show like the history of WrestleMania or just history of WWE for that matter.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, and I think that's where we keep getting on. Is like we really, and we're going to get into it more, and I know what we're going to talk about. It's the whole thing. It's like if we come off as critical, it's not because we have a bone to pick with a promotion. It's because we love professional wrestling, and we want all professional wrestling to be good, so that we can watch more good professional wrestling. Like if there was enough good professional wrestling, I wouldn't have to watch soap operas.
Yeah.
Not that I do, but I
think you just outed yourself there, John.
Well, like my wife watches a lot of Grays, and if I could put on wrestling and tell her to just go back in the other room and watch Grays while I watch professional wrestling, I could. But there's no good professional wrestling on Thursday, and truthfully, there's no good professional wrestling on Wednesday either.
Yeah, we'll get into that here in just a little bit. But kind of segueing off of that, another thing we wanted to talk about was the comments made by Chris Jericho in his most recent interview. I can't remember where it was. I don't know if it was
you mean the comments that Chris Jericho made to take himself from being a once relevant and reasonable and respectable professional wrestler to now being a grizzled old embittered vet who is he's got his head so far up his buttocks that he doesn't even realize how bad it smells anymore?
Well, and here's the thing, and to a degree, I understand where he's coming from, but at the same time, there's things I'm going to point out with what he said that I don't agree with.
Read the quote. Yeah.
So this is what he said in a recent interview, and this is, and I quote, he says, "I think a lot of people want to know everything all up front. Just sit back. We do have long-term story ideas and thoughts and plans. As knowledgeable as fans think they are at times, they still really don't know." Well, here's the thing, and I'll say this, and this is going to be my 2 cents on it. I understand what he's saying in regards to fans wanting things like presented to them right then and right now, because for the longest time in most recent events, AEW has produced storylines that make no sense in the end.
They have no payoff.
And so they have no payoff. And so now you have fans that are wanting to know what the payoff is in the moment. So it's because of things that have transpired beforehand to what you have now with professional wrestling fans. So it's not that we're impatient, because as true professional wrestling fans, me and this guy, we can take long storylines. I mean, WWE has put the longest storyline that they've done in a long time with the Bloodline. It's going on for 3+ years.
And honestly, at one point, we thought they were building Roman for The Rock.
Exactly.
And then
we have a 180, and then we go to Cody Rhodes, and so then you take a shift, but still.
And we're fine with the shift.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you go back and watch the episodes before WrestleMania, and I said, you know, I do think the Cody fans were being Cody crybabies. And at the end of the day, the Roman was built for The Rock. But then when Cody came in, and that's what the fans wanted, that's what the fans wanted. And so when WWE shifted to what the fans wanted, and by the way, that shift to doing what the fans wanted was so different than the Vince McMahon, like the last 15 years of the Vince McMahon era, that's what made WrestleMania 40 the biggest WrestleMania in the history of WrestleManias.
Absolutely.
Is listening to the fans. At the end of the day, you can sit there and badmouth all the fans all you want and say they don't get it. I'm sorry, who pays the bills? Who pays the bill? Because if the fans don't like it, then why should they buy it? Especially like in American culture right now, inflation is so freaking high. Did you really? So an article came out the other day that says for a family of 4, so husband, wife, 2 kids, the cost of groceries alone has gone up $11,000 for the year.
Yeah, I can believe it.
$11,000. The cost of groceries has gone up $11,000 for the years. And I guarantee you, no one's getting the $11,000 raises year over year. They're getting like $2,000 raises, maybe. The amount of money that you have nowadays is less and less. So when you pay to go see a show,
you want to get your money's worth.
You want to get your money's worth. And if a company's not showing you that they listen and give a darn about what you say and what you think and how you feel about the product that they're wanting you to pay for, that's just asinine to me, and that's overly smart.
And this is where I think that AEW's gone. They've gone more putting a show together that's for wrestlers, not wrestling fans.
And when the wrestlers pay for their own appearance, then they can put on the show for themselves.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Because now I will give them this: last week's whole segment with the Elite and Tony Khan was dog crap. And if you watched or listened to Eric Bischoff's comments,
Eric Bischoff. I've never agreed with Eric Bischoff more than I did on the last episode of 83 Weeks with Conrad Thompson and Eric Bischoff.
Yes.
And Eric, he pretty much summed up the same thing I did on the last episode, talking about how, and don't get it wrong, Eric Bischoff, people are going to sit there and say Eric Bischoff hates AEW and just wants AEW to fail. Eric Bischoff was in original episodes of AEW. He was on the AEW shows at the beginning. Eric Bischoff wanted to help AEW, and they said, no, thanks, we're fine. And the thing is Eric Bischoff cares about the professional wrestling business. Whether you want to believe it or not, he absolutely does.
Absolutely.
And the only reason he complains about AEW is because he wants it to be good. He sees the opportunity for it to be good, and it's not good. And just say, as professional wrestling fans, I wish that I could not care about crappy wrestling. I wish that I could see a crappy wrestling show and go, I don't care. But the thing is that when there's crappy wrestling, and I said this last week too, when there's wrestling that's this crappy, it discredits everything else. It makes everything else bad. Like Tony Khan being on Thursday night draft round 1 and moving his neck like this while wearing a neck brace makes everybody who ever goes wrestling is fake feel so vindicated. And
and it's like he said in his comments with, when Eric Bischoff was talking about it, it felt like a parody of wrestling. Mm-hmm. It felt like it was laughable.
Yeah, he said it was basically the equivalent of if SNL wanted to parody the NWO. That's what the Elite looked like 2 weeks ago with the Tony Khan segment and with Jack Perry and the soft. I mean, honestly,
that was the softest punch I've ever heard.
What was softer, the touch of doom or Jack Perry's microphone bump to Tony Khan?
That's a close call. I mean, honestly, I'd say Jack Perry's is probably right up there at number 1.
I think
that was the softest punch I've ever seen in my entire life. And Tony Khan.
Well, he doesn't even take it like a punch. He takes it like someone.
He's taking it like he got shot in the stomach.
Like he went straight back. Like, I mean, anyone knows in the world, you get hit with a punch, your body's going forward.
You're going forward.
Yeah, not backwards.
Well, and that just shows that Tony Khan has never been punched in the stomach before.
Must be nice to be that rich.
Yeah, exactly.
See, I'm not rich enough to have this mouth and not get punched a lot.
Yeah,
a lot.
I was about to say, yeah. If you only knew.
So I'm scrappy, but. But no, at the end of the day, you've got so many people, and the AEW Kool-Aid drinkers want to sit there and say, oh, well, they just hate the product. They just hate this. No, I don't hate the product. I've been watching the product for 5+ years. And at one point, the product was really good. And even in the time that this show, just the short time that we've had this show running, we're in year 2, but this show is only like a year and some months old.
Yeah.
At the beginning of this show, AEW was running a completely different style of show,
and we were both pro AEW over WWE at the time.
Yeah, we would have. I mean, at the beginning of this show, we were doing weekly wins, and AEW was taking win after win after win, and then something changed. And yes, WWE's programming got better when Vince. When Vince was out the door, WWE's programming got better. But it's not just about It's not just WWE's programming that got better. WWE's programming got better, and AEW's got much, much worse.
Yes.
And another thing that Eric pointed out on the show that's really, really important, I think a lot of people need to understand this, is there's absolutely no reason for them to have bad psychology and bad workmanship in their product whatsoever. They have Arn Anderson, Jake the Snake Roberts, Dean Malenko, Fit Finley. Like, are you kidding me? Like,
why are you not going to these guys and saying, hey, how can we improve this? What can we do to make this look more realistic? What can we do to make this look better?
Some of the best heels in the history of like the last 30 years have learned how to be heels by watching Jake the Snake Roberts.
Yes.
I mean, FTR, what is it? Dax is basically a ripoff of Arn Anderson.
Yeah.
And it gets over because it's good.
Yes.
Like, at the end of the day, there are so many good wrestling minds in the back. And for stuff like this to go on, they're not getting asked questions.
No, and it's like they sit back there, and I can't speak for them, but I'm sure they're sitting in the back going, why am I even here?
Well, and it goes back to a long time ago from a quote from Hangman Adam Page. And remember when this quote came out and I was livid about it?
Yeah, I remember.
I have lots of people telling me I just don't listen to it. That's the mentality of a lot of wrestlers in AEW, and it's the reason why AEW has so much talent but so little success. And yes, they have success. They're on TV. Yes, they have success. They have good pay-per-view buys.
What do you freaking do?
But let's face it, when you have somebody with the bankroll of the cons, that term too big to fail, like, they can negotiate stuff with TBS because he's got enough money to figure out how to do things like that in the first place. Let's face it, the Jacksonville Jaguars have never won a Super Bowl, may never win a Super Bowl, but they've never been, the team's never been traded to another city. They've never been shut down just because they suck. And that's the same thing with AEW. AEW is the Jacksonville Jaguars. It sucks, but it still has some dumb fans in Duval County who are stupid enough to go Jags! So, like, there's too much talent for AEW to suck this much.
Yeah.
And if the Hangman Adam Pages and the Bucks and the people who are so stupid as to think that they don't need to listen to old school wrestlers who learned from other old school wrestlers and got over far before these kids were ever even born,
then you're out of your freaking mind.
Yeah, I mean, like, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you had Dusty Rhodes sitting in the back room at NXT. If you were too dumb not to listen to Dusty, and you're too dumb not to listen to Jake or Arn or anybody else. Like, Cody Rhodes learned from his daddy, and people who didn't learn from Cody in NXT and are now bad-mouthing him in AEW.
That's the thing I don't understand. Is, like, the thing that people hate about AEW especially is because they constantly take shots at WWE, and now they're taking shots at one of the guys that helped put this thing together.
Oh, I know. And what's
why are you taking shots at Cody Rhodes, the man who literally put you on the map and put you where you are right now?
Well, they take it as an affront. It's like, how dare he leave us? But it's kind of like, well, I was here and nobody was listening to me. I was here and everything I was doing was basically being thrown out the door. So I figured, why waste my time? I only got so many bumps on my bump card. I'm not going to waste them here. I'm going to go make money so I can retire and be happy and not be, like, dead in pain. Like some of these freaking mark wrestlers who all they want to do is flips into freaking tacks with no storyline whatsoever. And it's like, dude, I love a good flip into tacks like the next person. But when you see it 1,000 times, or when there's no reason for it,
you get bored.
Like,
you get bored with it.
Or how about this, hockey pucks? The bag of hockey pucks?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
I don't know.
Like, really, at the end of the day, AEW, you're right. It's wrestlers wrestling for wrestlers. It's wrestlers wrestling for wrestlers, and not just any wrestlers, not wrestlers who are good businessmen, but mark wrestlers.
Yeah.
Like wrestlers who can't take the commentators' remarks and realize it's just a work.
It's crazy.
But yes, the wrestlers who will actually watch it, and like if Jim Ross or Jerry Lawler made fun of him, be like, Jerry, I don't really appreciate what you had to say about me the other day, Jerry. And be like, okay, buddy, it's I'm a heel commentator. My job is to make fun of you so that the crowd feels bad for you. But at the end of the day, AEW this last episode wasn't as bad as the one 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean they had a bit of a rising from the ashes moment whenever they had the segment with Kenny Omega. That made it a little bit more, I don't want to say believable, but it made it have a little bit more, okay, maybe we can invest in this. Maybe this was a little bit better than what we had last week.
Well, I'll say the Kenny Omega spot was one of the most believable promos I've seen in a long time on an AEW. The Elite cutting off Tony Khan and, explaining their actions and why they're not fired and all that, I thought that was good.
Yeah.
So, for Chris Jericho to say we don't like long-term story, no, we love long-term storytelling. Don't tell any professional wrestling fan they don't like long-term storytelling. I've been a professional wrestling fan my entire life. I've lived with a lot of long-term storytelling. Okay, I was with let's face it, I still believe that the Montreal Screwjob is the greatest long-term storytelling of all time. All right, and it's the best work in the history of the business. But no, I've also been part of the fans that waited, 10 years for CM Punk to return?
Yeah.
7 years for CM Punk to return. I'm part of the fans that waited, 20 years from the Ruthless Aggression era till now for WWE to not suck. Again, I'm a fan of a lot of things. Bad wrestling is not one of them.
Right.
Bad storytelling is not one of them. I mean, it's the same reason that I don't watch anything on the CW. What was it, One Tree Hill? All these things like that.
But we do encourage you to watch NWA on the CW.
Yes, watch NWA on the CW. And
watch the Guardians Legacy on the CW. It'll be coming later in the summer.
The Guardians Legacy on the CW will give me reason to watch the CW. All right? Not Heroes. Not One Tree Hill.
Not even The Flash?
Not Vampire Diaries. Not that pedophile. But the Guardians Legacy and the NWA on the CW gives me reason to want to watch stuff on the CW. But I'm not a fan of bad storytelling. And don't feed me dog crap and tell me that it's freaking Grey Poupon, all right? Don't tell me that it's escargot. Don't tell me that it's filet mignon, all right? If it looks and tastes like dog crap, it's dog crap. Or it's Cody's cooking.
Hey, my wife will tell you otherwise. Yeah, whatever. But, all that to say this, I agree with some of the things that Chris Jericho's saying because I'm sure he's coming at it from a way that a lot of people are saying we want things up front, but that's not your true professional wrestling fans. That's your casual WWE fans watching AEW product and saying, well, I don't understand this. What's the meaning behind this? But
what's the old quote is live long enough to see yourself become the villain?
Yeah.
That's where Chris Jericho's gone at this point in his life. He went from being a pioneer, Lionheart Chris Jericho, bringing the Japan and Lucha Libre styles and combining that with the Canadian American professional wrestling styles, being a guy that could work fantastic in the ring, had great mic skills, saw the changing of the business, adapted to the changing of the business.
Yeah.
But now he's become so high on his own ego that he's lost sense of his base.
Right.
It's like the guy who's like, I don't make movies for the common movie watcher. Oh, really? Because that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you're supposed to make stuff that people like so that they'll actually want to watch it, pay for it, and it draws a crowd, and the crowd draws reasons for custodial, for people to eat food, have drinks, have a good time.
Yeah.
Like,
but I mean,
I don't need a 3-hour noir style film with subtitles talking about some topic that nobody gives a crap about.
Yeah.
I'd much rather watch an Adam Sandler movie that makes me laugh and then I go home happy.
Exactly. But I mean,
hey, I'm weird.
I'm going to take Chris Jericho's word for it and say, you know what? if you've got long-term storytelling and you've got things coming up, I'm going to hold you to it. And come next year, if you don't hold up your promise, I'm going to call you a liar.
You're a liar, Chris Jericho. I'm saying right here and now.
I'm going to hold out. I'm going to hold out and just see what you got coming up, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, I hope it gets better. That's all I can hope for.
Yeah. All right. It's time for some high spots and botches. See, I told you it's going to catch on. Anyway, my high spot, obviously, is the crowd in France at Backlash. They were, I won't say they were the stars, because, I mean, you got the wrestlers that are the stars, but they put this whole thing over the moon, in my opinion. They were fantastic. I would be okay with them going to every premium live event being in France. I would be okay with that.
I have a problem with you saying that. You're not wrong, but I have a problem with you saying that and me not being able to disagree with you.
What?
The French are smug.
Hey, after that show, they have every reason to be smug. Because they put everything together. They put everything over. Like, their reactions to everything, the chants and all that. Granted, I couldn't understand what they were saying, but still loved it nonetheless.
But they're French.
Doesn't matter.
Matters to me.
Whatever.
These colors don't bleed. And I don't, I'm an American, okay?
Oh, I am too, but I'm just saying.
American, and you can too.
Hey, I'm just saying. Okay. But anyway, what you got for your high spot?
High spot, I mean, yeah, Backlash was absolutely fantastic. I think, probably the match between Cody and AJ that's a match that I've been wanting to see for a long time. So, I was sold on that match since day one where they presented it. So it met every expectation. The crowd was hot.
Yes.
So, it just gives it a better big match feel. Like, I knew Cody was winning. Like, a lot of people can say, man, I wish that it wasn't so predictable that Cody was going to win.
But at the same time, who expected AJ to take the title off of him after WrestleMania?
No, and that's why nobody expected it. But see, that's the thing is, like, good storytelling can draw you in and make you know at the beginning of the match that it's not happening, but still at some point think, well, maybe it might happen.
Right.
And yes, as hard as it is to get out of that knowledge that yes, they didn't just put the title on Cody after all that they've done to take it off of him in 1 month. Like, we know that's not going to happen, but it doesn't take away from those guys' ability to tell a story, to draw you in, and then when you just think about, here's long. You want long term? Here's long term. AJ Styles is the only professional wrestler who has fought both Cody Rhodes and Dusty Rhodes for a world title.
Yep, that's true.
Yep, 2004, Dusty Rhodes versus AJ Styles for the NWA world title in TNA. 2024, AJ Styles versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE undisputed title.
I mean
that's exciting. That's like once in a lifetime stuff. And so that's what I say, that's the storytelling that I like on that one is just and what's cool is I went back and I was watching the match. I watched the old TNA match. Obviously AJ's not wearing the same outfit, but he wore purple both times.
Right.
I don't know if he did that on purpose or not, but
I'll say that he did.
I think so. I think he did. I think wrestlers like AJ Styles, I think that he was probably hyper aware of the fact that, like, I'm wrestling you. I wrestled your dad at the early part of my career. Now I'm wrestling you at the twilight of my career.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff to me is so cool. And like I said, that's people they didn't say anything. I don't think they said anything about that on commentary. That was just something that I knew because I've been watching it long enough. And when you have that kind of intersection between wrestlers that you absolutely love, like I said, professional wrestling fans are like no other sports fans in the world.
Yeah.
Like, think about anything else. Like, you have the NFL. Does any other football fan watch other than the NFL as much as professional wrestling fans will watch stuff other than WWE?
Honestly, I can't think of anything other than
like
that.
NBA's NBA. Like, they used to have two different factions of the NBA. There was the NBA and then there was the USBA or US something, back in the 70s and 80s. But it's like people only watched one. With wrestling, it's like we want more.
Yeah.
So that's just one of those things. And like I say, that match, you know, we have that match now. I can go back and watch that match anytime, and like I say, that history, and it's absolutely fantastic. So that was my high spot.
Absolutely. As far as botches go, I didn't really have anything pressing on me.
Every time they give the freaking microphone to Mercedes Moné is a botch. That girl could literally talk my fat butt out of a free meal at the Golden Corral. Okay? Like, she can't talk. She has never been able to talk. She's never been good at talking. She's got a stupid, like, little meh. Like, she does the same promo every single time. Okay?
Wait, how does she do that again?
I'm the CEO, or I'm Sasha Banks. I'm the boss.
Sounds like you're doing like an Egyptian or something like that. I'm not really
Listen.
sure what that was.
Take it up with her. I'm doing a perfect parody of Mercedes Moné / Sasha Banks. She sucks at talking. Okay? And WWE knew she sucked at talking, which is why they always put her in matches with people who could talk and could build up the match and could bring people into the building. I don't think they made a good investment with Mercedes Moné at all. I don't think she's going to bring more credibility to the women's division. Where's Britt Baker? Please bring back Britt Baker.
Please.
I'm begging you for Britt.
We need Britt.
We need Britt.
Hashtag bring back Britt.
Like, also, why do I not have any Saraya? Like, I mean, obviously you guys didn't use her well, but let's not pretend like she can't get over. She absolutely can get over. But you're wasting her time on stupid, like, Rampage shows that nobody watches and, like, YouTube segments that nobody cares about. Put your big stars back on the screen and stop wasting my time with crappy Mercedes Moné promos that absolutely, like, my 18-month-old daughter who's learning to speak can compel a crowd better than Mercedes Moné.
I mean, that's saying a lot. But yeah, I mean, I don't know where they're going to go with the women's division from now, leading up to Double or Nothing. I mean, I'm excited to see Toni Storm and Serena Deeb. That's going to be a great match.
I think it'll be a great match. Yeah, Toni and Serena will tear it up. I mean, Tony.
Honestly, I'm excited to see Swerve Strickland and Christian Cage get it on. That
will be a good match too. We'll see how that goes. I mean, I don't really know what they're doing with Swerve's title run. Like, he doesn't really have, like, Swerve has an identity, but, like, his title run at this moment, like, when Joe had it was like, okay, he's gonna have it, and then it's gonna end with MJF. So the fact that Swerve beat Joe for it, I'll give it to them. They have me guessing right now, but I don't think I'm guessing for the right reasons. I'm guessing because it's like your booking is like playing darts with cerebral palsy. Like, we have no idea where it's going to go.
Right.
And it might go into someone's eye. All I'm saying is I'm looking forward to Swerve versus Christian. Is Edge going to get involved? Is Joe going to get involved? Is MJF ever coming back? Or is he going to...
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he went to WWE at this point. Because honestly, no amount of money that they pay MJF is going to rectify any damage that they've done so far.
Well, I really don't know. Like, at this point, like, he has to have signed with somebody, and then I guess if he's injured, he's waiting for the injury to go off. But one thing about MJF that he's really good about is that when he goes radio silent, he goes radio silent.
Yeah.
So we don't know.
That's what I love about MJF. Honestly, MJF is probably my favorite wrestler today, just because he is true to his character. He is true to kayfabe. He does not, like, all this stuff with social media makes it so much harder to keep kayfabe alive. Because you see pictures of people going through the airport, you see people doing all these different things on social media. But with MJF, he is true to the character that he portrays. Like, he does not break away from it. And I love it because it keeps all of us guessing.
Yep.
It keeps all of us legitimately invested in
it. He reminds me of professional wrestlers before the internet, like, where you had to tune in to find out.
Exactly.
So, yeah, no, I like I said, I hope that Swerve and Christian's a good match. I have no idea... like I said, with the booking and everything, like I said, I want to be invested. I want to be invested. This is a big pay-per-view for AEW, and I know they do good pay-per-views as far as like when the time for a pay-per-view comes up, I will give it to them, and I have in the past. They do a good job, but it's really hard for me to want to invest my money based on TV.
Yeah.
Like, based on TV, I think I'd be better off wiping my butthole with it. And I'm an apple polisher.
But, yeah, we're just going to have to see how it goes from here. I mean, maybe the lead up to Double or Nothing will be better, but we'll just have to see in the weeks to come.
Yeah, we will.
But anyway, guys, that's been our episode for this week. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you for watching. Like we said before, go follow us on all of our social media platforms. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. You can find all of our commentary comment on there as well. Commentary content. Yeah, say that 5 times fast. Commentary content on there.
You better be careful. I'll have to use the censor button on you.
I know, right? But once again, I want to reiterate, May 17th and 18th, Kraken Pro Wrestling is going to be presenting the Kraken Classic. And I'm going to reiterate it one more time.
I should get paid for this billboard space that I provide.
You've got plenty of space for it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you pay for real estate, like...
But I want to reiterate the giveaway. Remember, 3 steps to be entered into this sweepstakes to win 2 free tickets to this event. Number 1, go subscribe to their YouTube channel at Kraken Pro Wrestling. Remember, it'll be in the description down below.
Go.
Number 2, go follow their Facebook page. Follow it right now. And number 3, we'll put a post on Facebook, on our Facebook page, and share it with Kraken as well. But comment on the page, comment on the post, release the Kraken. Those 3 things, and you could be entered to win. We'll announce the winner next week on our podcast. But, like we always like to say, thank you guys for all of your continuous support. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And as always, keep it 5 stars.